Which series?
Hawkeye.
You said we were talking about hot guys.
Let's start the show. That's how we started.
I thought we were doing over
Welcome back, everyone, to Keeping Up with the Nerds minicast issue number 6, I believe, this time around.
Yeah.
Yes, we're back on the main track of minicast. And I know we said we're going to take a, 2-week? We're going to go dark for 2 weeks. We've pre-recorded a couple of pieces of content already.
Yeah.
But we couldn't stop because a series just ended on Disney Plus that surprisingly was really good.
Yeah, The Witcher was really good.
Yeah, Witcher was pretty
You're
good.
just on a roll today with just the jokes, huh?
And Matrix Resurrection was
Matrix
pretty good.
Resurrection also good.
Yeah.
No,
Not bad. It wasn't bad.
That was not.
You guys saw it already?
Yeah, it's on
It's
HBO
on
Max.
We all said we were gonna watch it.
Yeah, and I thought we were going to watch it for the first time together.
I thought so, but then I put it on in my
Yeah.
house.
I couldn't hold back.
I couldn't hold back.
You're just
I
like, oh
actually-
no, I accidentally fell.
Sorry, Bryan.
All right. Oh, okay. So I guess I'll watch it this weekend. I gotta
Yeah.
watch The Witcher season 2 as well.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's not what we're here about. We're here.
Those are other mini
Those are other. You know, when we come back, we'll probably discuss it. But we're here to talk about Hawkeye. The series on Disney Plus, which just ended the 22nd of December.
Yes.
Yes, it did.
Yes, it just wrapped up. Like I said, it was surprisingly good for a show that started off very weak.
What?
Yes, and here's my take on it. Okay, we're gonna
I
start
see
off.
where people come from when they say that, but for me, I was like,
I was enjoying the whole
enjoyed it.
thing.
But go
So
on.
no. So okay, so I feel like weak is a very strong word,
It is.
but but the reason I say weak is because it didn't sell me for the first like maybe 2-3 episodes.
Really?
There was a lot of kind of like we didn't get Hawkeye until maybe episode, what was it, like episode 3?
I think it was when
Kate Bishop dresses up as the Ronin in 1.
Then one, and then they meet up in basically in episode 2.
They meet up at the end of.
I think it was
One?
episode
No,
3 when they had the car chase scene.
Yes.
I think that's when it grabbed.
that's
people.
when it, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I enjoyed, because you have to have that world building and the characters. So you have to kind of like put Kate Bishop in the world and go, okay, where has she been
Yeah.
Yeah.
through the events of the Marvel MCU? And I was okay with with seeing where she was, you know, in the first 2 episodes, because if I don't get these 2 episodes, then the rest of the episodes I don't care.
That's
No,
the thing,
and
yeah.
that's why I feel like the weak start is only beneficial to itself by the end. Because you do get that world building, you do get that character development. And it's funny because the main character that we should be pulling out from the series is Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
Andy, who was seeing this with me, did not like Kate Bishop until the very last episode.
Really?
Like, she hated her because she was
Wow.
so, you know, she was this kind of like very, you know, I'm gonna make an action first and think about my consequences later kind of person.
Okay.
And she didn't like that. And then by the end of the series, she's like, okay, she's a teenager. That's what I said.
Yeah, she's young.
That's what I told her.
She's like, what? She's 21?
21,
She's in like her early
just-
22.
She's a young adult. That's like, didn't
She's in
she
her-
just graduated college or something like
No,
that?
she got kicked out.
No,
Of
she
college.
got-
Or she got
she-
kicked out because of the
yeah.
belt. That's right.
But she was in college. So
Yeah.
I would imagine she's like somewhere near like her early 20s.
Early 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So that's kind of what like got her, was that she wasn't really thinking about it. But by the end of it, you got to see that kind of character development in Kate Bishop, where she was just kind of this like, oh, I want to be a hero to be a hero, but then understanding what it took to become a hero and what she needed to sacrifice. We got the origin story fully developed. You know, we got a closure with Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye as well. You know, we've got finally the conclusion, and not only that, but we got the reunion of Yelena and Hawkeye
Yeah.
finally coming together and explaining, you know, kind of like calming down the situations of Endgame.
I was telling people.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
Spoiler.
If you guys didn't know, you guys should be. If this big red bar, and obviously the title should give it away that this is going to be all Hawkeye spoilers and stuff.
I was telling people we finally kind of get that mourning moment for Black Widow's death in Endgame at the end of this season.
I do like the memorial they have for the heroes who fought in the Battle of New York. I actually did think that was a really interesting moment, and I did like the idea of figuring out why Clint keeps on turning off his hearing aids, because that's his moments when he's trying to be alone and he's trying to talk to Natasha, trying to talk it out. and kind of figure out what his next move is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting to kind of see all of those elements that have to go into it. Yeah, I mean, seeing Yelena, I actually really do like the idea of seeing Yelena's point of view, and we also got another point of view of Photon in
Monica.
In Monica Rambeau
Yeah.
inside of
WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Yes.
Of what exactly the blimp was for everyone else, where it's a snap.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally you are here 1 minute and then you're back here. It's like it like nothing happened. Nobody knows what happened. All they know is 5 years have passed.
I love the detail of when she comes back from the blip, and then
Yelena's, right?
Yeah.
And her perspective is changing in an instant from when she last remembered. The house was white, and then it just turns green. Like you see it shifting into green and stuff like that.
So taking that into consideration, it's very funny to kind of see the tones that all three, or was WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, and Hawkeye, all 4 Disney Plus series that we've had so far. There's different tones to each one, and it's very interesting to see, like, you know, you were saying how the blip affects every single person, because in Far From Home, I think that was the first MCU movie that we got to see the effects of what the blip did
afterwards,
right?
yeah.
And it was very comical. Then in WandaVision, we not only just got to see like what the blip did, but like what the actions of Endgame basically, you know, did to someone, did to some people, and in this case it was Wanda, what resulted out of that.
I mean, not only that, but also I'm almost positive there's like at least 1,000 people that died.
Yeah.
Once the blip came back.
Yeah.
That were in like helicopters or planes.
No, I think they. Unfortunately, Kevin Feige or the Russo brothers had said that they kind of dressed onto that. They go, well, the key word was when Hulk says everyone comes back safely.
Yeah, safely in the air.
They came back safely for the first like 10 seconds, and that's it.
Could you imagine just like sitting there and going like, wait, what the hell? Ah! Why did you do this to me?
Because you haven't fully gotten all your weight back, so you're kind of just like coming back.
Yeah,
and
and
weightless for
you
that
know what
second.
actually would be kind of funnier? What would be funnier than that would be if there was, if instead of like just blimping back in the middle of the air, you blimp back into a full plane.
Oh, and the person just sitting on another person's lap, like, you're in my chair.
like this plane has just become like double the capacity because everybody's back.
I think what is it? Time Warp, that channel that made it really funny, where they talked about how like if a pregnant woman lost her baby in the like blip, and then like when that comes back, the baby comes back.
Oh, I've heard of that parody. I'm like, where are you going with it?
And so then the baby comes back, but then she dies because all the strain of like having her baby back kills her.
That's some dark stuff, man. Some people think of way too many things. But going back to Hawkeye,
away from the blimp chaos,
blip murders.
That's not what we're talking here to talk about.
I'm just saying Hulk has the highest kill count. That's what I'm saying. Hulk has the highest kill count.
Yeah.
It was double Thanos.
Almost matches over Thanos' kill count.
So now I had to think about that one for a second. So going back to the series, this series was uniquely different, and it was more of a personal series, because I felt like WandaVision was the consequences of losing someone and developing Wanda for future movies. For future movies and future series.
Same thing with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Exactly. It was to set up Falcon and, the Winter Soldier, trying to figure out where they're going to go. Loki is kind of setting up world building for the MCU in Phase 4 and Phase 5.
Yeah.
But then Hawkeye was more of like, okay, we're going to send off Jeremy Renner and,
do you think this is
what's her name?
send-off?
Natasha. Who's the actress that plays Natasha? I forget.
Who? Wait.
Black Widow? Yeah.
Oh, Scarlett
Johansson.
Yeah.
I was just
well,
like,
she had her send off in Endgame after she fell.
But like but like Nick said, this was like her memorial. This was like, her sacrifice was not left in vain. It was respected. And we got that with Hawkeye.
Not only that, but also it's interesting to see that Yelena took the other widow's option, because she said, oh yeah, I can give you assassin work to do.
Yeah.
So, and also that does mean that Vi, or what was her name? Yeah, I think it was Vi, right? The girl the woman from Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
that means that she's a hitman for hire.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we mentioned in one of the issues before that they're kind of like setting up the Dark Avengers in a way.
Well, the thing is that usually her character works as a subsidiary for S.H.I.E.L.D., and then she becomes undercover as Madam Hydra, and then she has like other things that kind of happen where she becomes like a bigger bad.
Yeah.
It's interesting to kind of see that. So that means that John Walker is now an assassin. I don't know, or he's not.
I forgot John Walker was a character too. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Well, because John Walker's in that kind of the same group.
Yeah.
As like Yelena and all of them. So it's kind of interesting to kind of see where John Walker is being placed with them. Does he know Yelena? Are these just different assets that she uses for different things that she needs?
Yeah,
I think so.
And everything else, that's kind of where I want to see.
There are more questions being put forward about Yelena and Hawkeye than there are with Kate Bishop, because I felt like Kate Bishop got her origin story here, and now we get to see her become, eventually Hawkeye. The series basically ends with her kind of figuring out what name to get, and then the obvious trope that they always do is like, oh, well, what name do you want? Shaboom, title screen, and it's Hawkeye.
But I just feel that, really quick, I just feel that it's not really Jeremy Renner. It doesn't feel like he's done with the character.
He's not. They're going to keep him around, but it's because I feel like this is his... I think it was IGN that kind of put it best in one of their reviews, where they said that they're making the most boring Avenger interesting. And you could argue and say, like, well, he wasn't technically a boring Avenger, but he was the least used and least developed out of every single one of them.
Well, and
that's true,
right?
That's true, but okay, here's what I do want to see. I want to see in future movies, future events, when Jeremy Renner shows up, he has a sidekick. And I think that would be interesting.
Well,
finally, to kind of see that duo, and they both refer to each other as Hawkeye. Because I do feel, because that is a thing that happens in the comic books where she goes by Hawkeye, he goes by Hawkeye. And it even leads to some confusion in battles.
Yeah.
And everything else, like where they're both fighting with the other Avengers, and like Tony will go Hawkeye, and then like both of them.
What?
Yeah.
Peter.
Yeah, and then
yes.
And then both of them will turn.
Peter.
And I still want to see this mentor-mentee relationship continue in other aspects of of her getting more and more developed as a character, or her showing up next time in the Young Avengers with Patriot, with what was it, Ant-Man's daughter, and everything else.
I think with season 2 of Hawkeye, because they're obviously going to be a season 2 with Kate. It'll be obviously mostly about Kate, but I feel like Jeremy Renner's going to be there when she needs him. Like if she's like in over her head, she needs like some words of encouragement and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's going to be that kind of like teacher, the guidance kind of thing.
Yeah.
In going along with this whole like, okay, what's in store with the future of Hawkeye? I see where you're headed with this, where Hawkeye will eventually be, or is technically now, Kate Bishop's mentor, and the one that will be this eventual sidekick for Hawkeye for the next couple of like years, right?
Yeah.
But what I really want to see, and it's specifically because of the last episode, how we got that relationship between Hawkeye and Black Widow, where it was a very best friends kind of relationship where each one of them saved each other's lives at some point.
Yes.
I want to see that, but Kate Bishop and Yelena. Because that relationship throughout the entire series when they first met was just fantastic. Especially the elevator scene.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, don't do that.
Don't do that. That's so annoying.
She really bounces off characters, and I think it's just the actress as well, too. She bounces
Yelena
off
or Kate Bishop?
The
Yelena.
actress who plays Yelena.
She can bounce off of actors and characters really well. I loved her and her dialogue with Natasha in Black Widow.
What's her name again?
Let me see. Hold on.
She is officially... I've never been in love with a...
You and TikTok, I swear to God.
I don't think I've ever fallen in love with an Avenger in the MCU the way I did when Yelena popped into Hawkeye. I was like, yes, this is the perfect... Just I love her.
I want more back and forth.
I want macaroni and sriracha.
I really... Macaroni and sriracha is actually pretty good.
I know.
Really
that's
good.
why. It's just
good.
yes, I've tried that.
I loved how she was so happy about that.
Yeah,
She's like,
but
oh, yeah.
Do you just say my name because you want to make me know that you know a lot about me? Yes, Kate Bishop.
She's but it's so interesting how
Florence Pugh.
There you go.
Florence or Florence?
I'm gonna say this: a lot of the last names, for the actors and actresses that were in Hawkeye are very weird and hard to pronounce.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't remember this.
Who plays Echo?
Echo. Let me see.
We have to also talk about Echo as well. Too.
And the villain reveal.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. So like we've discussed, we got to move this along.
Yeah.
So we've talked about kind of like where we see Hawkeye going into the future with an
Yes.
eventual season 2. Echo was one of the main antagonists, quote unquote, kind of introduced in the series.
Yeah, that name's a nightmare.
So she's one of the main antagonists that was kind of introduced into Hawkeye.
Alaqua
Cox.
There we go, close enough.
Yeah.
But she was one of the main kind of like quote unquote antagonists that we do see in the series, which then she eventually turned into a kind of like not protagonist, but like
A Punisher-esque
person, right?
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So
And she's also getting her own series.
yes.
Yes.
In Echo, self-titled.
Yes.
What's really great, I'll say this: props to the actress and props to the production with working with someone who is actually deaf, because it felt so natural and it didn't feel forced. Like it didn't feel like the production was trying to accommodate her kind of like necessities and end up hurting the production in a way. It kind of felt like what they did with her was they kind of said,
Is she actually missing a leg? Or
Yeah, she's actually. I just looked that up. Yeah, she's an actual amputee. Yeah.
She's an actual amputee?
yeah, and they worked. It felt like this all felt natural. Like it
did.
felt like be yourself, be who you could be, and just give us the best version of Echo possible.
'Cause I don't
And
think-
she sold it.
I don't think in the comics she's an amputee.
No, she's
No,
not.
she's not. But
I think they just added into it, and that's fine. It's
but
good.
it fits
I like
so
it.
well, and it's so great because it makes her more badass. Like she's super cool. The fact that she's able to kind of like take down Hawkeye in a way and say like when she crushed the earpiece, it's like, oh, you need to stop listening so much and start to feel the world around you. It's like, yeah, now you're challenging someone that has like something going on with them, and kind of making them explore themselves a little bit.
Not only that, but also I did like her storyline a lot, of the idea of Uncle has basically trained her from youth.
Yeah.
He's trained her, turned her into basically like a master, not necessarily an assassin per se.
No.
I would say more of like a heavy duty henchman.
Yeah.
Yes. An eventual boss, essentially.
Very much a lieutenant.
Yeah.
Very much like a high lieutenant, in kind of like his army, and it's interesting to see how her allegiances flip. And it's not that she wants to become a hero; she just wants to get away from them. From after finding out what happens to her dad and finding out that technically the uncle is the one that had him killed by Ronin. It's interesting to kind of go, oh, she doesn't even kind of want revenge at first. She just wants to leave the life.
It was not a bad guy turned good. It's a bad guy trying to
Escape.
Yeah, trying to find the truth in the mess.
Well, because the interaction between her and Uncle at the very end is convenience. Because what are the chances that he was going to be there?
Yeah.
That was it. That was a moment of convenience of like, oh, he's here, so I'm gonna go do my thing. Otherwise, it kind of sounded like she wasn't even gonna try to like take him out.
Yeah.
Because who could take out, Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin?
Yeah.
Which is
Uncle.
Which is the uncle. Did we kind of know that he was eventually going to be revealed?
So yeah.
In episode 2, the Echo episode. No, I'm sorry. Episode 3 is the Echo episode, isn't it? Episode 3 or 4?
Episode 3, yeah.
Yeah, episode 3 is the Echo episode where in the very beginning you do have that scene where she's a little tiny kid, you meet her dad, and then you have a man in a suit who her dad says Uncle will take care of you. And then you do see the cufflinks and the suit.
The actress, the little girl, apparently that's her cousin.
Oh, her real cousin.
That
Yeah,
would
that's her real
explain why
cousin.
they look so
Yeah.
similar.
And,
Yeah, they look really
she
similar.
did that role really well too.
Marvel
Yeah.
always does that. They
You know, production for the
Marvel really
MCU
does
is
that.
like, okay, say what you want about superhero movies, the production for these MCU
they pay
series,
attention to detail.
they do.
props to them. Props to them. They're working really hard out there.
But to go on to that means that they brought. So it's unclear of whether or not this Wilson Fisk is the same Wilson Fisk we got from Netflix. We got our Daredevil inside of Spider-Man. Now we have Wilson Fisk. Nobody knows if whether or not the events of Daredevil's seasons 1, 2, and I think 3. Yeah, all took place.
That's true. Yeah.
Because they didn't mention it. Technically, Wilson Fisk is supposed to be in jail by the end of 3, and he's
But it's
out
also
of
the
jail.
Kingpin. He can get out of any situation.
Well,
True.
I'm also assuming he used the blip as his, as a either excuse or maybe he did get blipped away. No,
that's-
he didn't though.
He didn't get blipped.
No.
Because he said that during the blip, that's
Yeah.
how he took advantage.
Yeah, because I would assume he had like a lawyer that you would use that as a technicality.
Yeah.
And
It-
he's
Yeah,
like,
of like all
in
of
the
all of his-
comics, he is a criminal mastermind
that always gets out of
who
jail.
has
He always gets
multiple.
out of
always
jail.
gets out of jail.
that's his superpower.
Yeah.
Just
Getting
getting
out of
out of
jail.
jail.
That guy has like a rap sheet that is
Yeah.
probably like extends around the world like
Oh, yeah.
50 times and still somehow is mayor of New York.
At one point, yeah. But not only that, but also I feel like this Wilson Fisk was stronger than
They
the
made
He's
Wilson,
always been that strong.
but not in the Daredevil.
That's the thing. In Daredevil season 3, I think Daredevil was like beating the crap out of him, and his face was just like bloodied and cut up, while Kate Bishop was throwing arrows,
Stabbing him.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite
Yeah.
part. Throws it
Yeah.
and he just goes bam, like rips the
Yeah.
the stick right out. I'm like, dude, yeah. Okay, I get what you mean because that Daredevil Kingpin is a
he
little bit
ripped
weaker.
a door off a car.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about this. When I saw that Kingpin, I was like, this is the Kingpin,
Kingpin.
we all grew up
Yeah.
reading, that we all grew up
Because
watching.
in the comic books, he's like a little superhuman. He's like they made him like he's like he's like a little mini Juggernaut.
He's
like he's like not virtually stoppable, but he's pretty unstoppable.
His superpower is the ability to get out of jail multiple times,
Yeah.
and the strength is based off anger.
basically.
I
Vincent
thought his-
D'Onofrio like
I thought his-
sells it too.
Yeah, I thought his strength was based off of his size.
So we got 2 more questions real quick because we do have to wrap it up pretty soon. So the end of this series kind of wrapped up a lot of different things. We got Hawkeye and Kate Bishop going home for Christmas. The mom ended up kind of like being revealed to be the one behind the murder. Basically, the mom was a total asshole. Like straight up, did not like her from when I first
No.
met her. And then at the end of
She
it,
always plays that. The actress always plays that character.
and she
type.
sells it well.
Yeah.
She does it well. Also, Dalton, I forget his name, the swordsman.
Yeah.
The actor that played the swordsman. Awesome.
I love him.
because he was so great at the end with him going just like, hoo-yah, ha-da-da, how'd you do it? I'm just like, yes.
They're like, oh, there's
What's-
blood on my tie.
Oh,
yeah, I know,
man.
there's blood on my tie. Have you ever heard of LARPing? No, but
So that
for that, because his actual hero name is the
swordsman, yeah.
Well, he's less of a hero, more of a vigilante, right?
Yeah.
He's not necessarily a bad guy, but he's
not
also
a good guy
He's not a
either.
good guy.
He's just there.
Yeah.
but doesn't he become leader of like a band, like not a band, but like a group of
Backstreet
heroes?
Boys.
Maybe. I'll look it up right now.
'Cause
So
I'm almost positive because I know he was a mentor of Hawkeye in a couple of.
That's the
comic
thing.
books.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, in the
In the comic books, he's been a mentor.
in 60 minutes, the series was wrapped up in one episode. There is one major thing that I think kind of like the watch, its significance, that'll kind of be answered in season 2. But I feel like one of the biggest things to kind of take away from the ending is the camera pans up as Echo and Kingpin are in the streets. He's obviously hurt and about to die because Echo pulls the gun on him. Camera pans up and the shot happens. Is the Kingpin dead?
No,
No,
no body, no death.
Exactly.
that's the rules.
So that's in comic books and video games and in movies.
Well,
That's always the rule.
here's the number one thing. I think that we're gonna find out what happens in that scene in the very beginning of Echo. I wouldn't be surprised if the very first scene of that show is that street, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kingpin gets away. Like he's, because Kingpin, he's always been battered, beaten, whatever, and he always seems to either get away or anything else. But not only that, but also why would you bring back Vincent D'Onofrio
for like 3 episodes.
Episode?
Yeah.
No, he was only in for an episode.
Oh, was he really full one? Yeah.
Like for a full
episode,
just a final episode. That was it. So basically we brought back this character that everyone loves just so that way we could shoot him in the face in an alley.
And that's it.
I mean,
that's the thing.
I don't think that I'm going to agree with Nick on this one. He's not dead because he'll play a part in Echo. He'll probably kind of follow Echo around for a bit and then kind of make an escape somewhere at the end.
So what about if she's about to kill him and then Bullseye saves him?
We'll see. I don't know. That's the thing. I think
that would be kinda cool.
I don't like what they did for that in Hawkeye. They had to go that route where it's like the cliche of like, oh yeah, they shot him, but we didn't see it. But obviously, he's gonna come back. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like you said, it's not. They can't just use him for one episode and just that's it. He's never coming back again.
It's not something you should like, but it's
really
also a setup.
Mm-hmm. It's also he's too big of a character to know.
Yeah, you can't hype it up. They gave him a freaking end card where like the camera pans back, the title card's there, and the shadows in the background. So you can't kill him off. Like I 100% agree. But at the same time, it's like you're not gonna like it, but it's not meant for you to like it because this is the start of Echo.
That's the thing. But if you're starting Echo like that, then we know that's the thing. If that's supposed to be her moment, then that moment's taken away when he comes back on screen.
Yeah,
that
because
significance
now
of killing her uncle,
getting back at him.
Yeah.
So there might be some significance. It's a weak start.
We'll see how Echo starts when we start getting trailers for it. Because I wouldn't be surprised if the big thing in Echo is her trying to hunt down Kingpin or trying to take down his gang.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that would be the setup for Vincent D'Onofrio being like the big bad or anything like that, or even the power broker. Her trying to take out the power broker.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
I can see her trying to battle several different things, and that could also bring in Charlie Cox with with Daredevil. There's a lot of different routes that they can take with Echo.
Definitely.
And it's interesting to see where exactly they might go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it all pans out and everything. I do like the ending overall though. It is a very die-hard episode. I mean, die-hard ending.
Mm-hmm. It is. It ties up all the loose ends that we got from the very beginning of the series up until the end. To kind of wrap it up because we are going to be hitting a 30-minute mark pretty soon. Just to kind of like talk about it, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Marvel released an image where you needed to watch these movies to watch the last episode of Hawkeye.
I don't know what you needed to learn about Thor.
So I found out. I know what it is. It's the LARPers. They dress up as Guardians.
Oh,
yeah, because
it's
a weak thing.
Wait,
and that's
are they dressed up as the Warriors 3?
Yes.
Oh.
So that's what got me because props to Andy. I don't know what it is. My Easter egg hunting eyes are weak because Andy was the only one.
I give up on Easter egg hunting.
I can catch the weirdest Easter eggs in the corner.
I saw that
somewhere.
I saw that it was medieval, but it didn't look like the Warriors 3.
Because they're LARPers. They're not going to be like dressed up like super, But that's the thing is that because we were watching that and we were all confused because everything made sense up until Thor because they said Civil War, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and then Thor was the first one and we were just kind of like, what the heck? Why is Thor, the one that is kind of out there?
Yeah.
And when they walked out, because it's like it's time to you do this.
So
they dressed up.
I loved that. That shows a nod to that world where basically it's like they're trying to tell people go over here in normal clothes, right?
Yeah.
And they had to change into a uniform, like kind of like a costume,
and then they started listening to them.
And then everyone is listening to them. And
yeah.
stuff. So I found that really good. That's a good little nod and detail.
They were annoying at first, but then they became lovable. Yeah. That's if we're gonna take one thing out of Hawkeye for people that are holding back to watch it.
LARPers are annoying. Yeah, I know.
Hey. Somebody who avidly LARPs.
Still?
That annoys Bryan every podcast. Point proven.
No, but I will say this.
I just got lawyered.
To conclude this episode, if someone's going to take something from this mini cast, it's that if you're holding back on Hawkeye because it felt weird and you're just tired of these little mini series, what it does really well is that it sells you on character development and story development. Right. It really wants you to kind of like, you're not going to like the things at the beginning, but by the end of it, you feel very satisfied.
I think because it's a more grounded series, that it doesn't go heavily into like the fantasy aspect of it. I mean, we get like the trick arrows, and I think that's like the high point of like how
No boomerang
fiction.
arrow.
No boomerang arrow. But we did get 2 pim arrows.
Yes.
Which
is
the little
cool.
I love the little dark joke of like when it's the truck all small, the owl comes in and grabs the truck.
Well, that takes care of that.
I did think that was kind of messed up, but he was like, I could not stop laughing when I heard that of like, oh, what do we do with them now? I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask Scott about that.
And
then just the owl takes it, and he's like, I guess it took care of itself.
I was like, why? What's the significance of that owl?
Oh,
You
so
know?
that's an owl from the comic books.
Oh, well, is it really?
That, like, there's a significance of a Hawkeye in that owl. That's why.
Okay, so it's a little
I don't know
nod.
it's certainly, but someone told me about that, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's why, because they did make it like that. Look, it's an owl, guys.
Yeah,
Like,
and I'm just like, that is a very weird thing to spend 30 seconds on.
I think he does have like a pet owl of some sort, so it's like a messenger owl.
That's
like
pretty cool.
early, like Silver Age stuff.
Yeah. All right.
He doesn't have a pet hawk.
No.
We're gonna have a pet falcon for Peacemakers.
Yes.
His name is
All right, guys, we got to wrap this up because we're hitting 30. We're hitting 30.
Owl, not Owl Eye.
Owl. I know, right?
We're hitting 30.
Okay.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us on this mini cast. It went on a little longer than expected, but
As they do.
as they always do. It was a lot to talk about. It's like it was 6 episodes, but it's very, it's a very like there's a lot of things to talk. Yeah. So if you guys are interested in listening more or watching more of us, we have a YouTube channel at Keeping Up with the Nerds, website keepingupwiththenerds.com, and all audio platforms. Keeping Up with the Nerds podcast, where you guys can listen to us and on extended version of issues of different topics. We just released our Spider-Man issue, which was issue 78.
Yeah.
Issue 79 will be releasing this week, which is already pre-recorded. It's a short podcast to kind of just give us a break. We'll be talking about revisiting some past moments of this last year, and then the week afterwards is going to be an annual issue, so it won't be a mainline issue, meaning that once 2022 hits, we'll be kickstarting with issue 80. So that won't be for another 2 weeks, I think, right? Yeah. And don't forget to like and subscribe. There you go. Gotcha. I know, Nick. I know. But with that said, thank you guys for joining us on this issue of this minicast issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds, Hawkeye edition. My name is Bryan.
Rene.
And Nick.
And we'll see you all in the next one.
Happy holidays and happy good New Year.
Good New Year?
You know what I meant.
You know what I mean?